Today we have Marissa Bankert, Executive Director of the South Central Pennsylvania chapter of the Independent Electrical Contractors, here to speak with us. Marissa, I will pass it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate the introduction. I'm super excited to be here to be able to present on our apprenticeship program and kind of the benefits of apprenticeship overall. They're very numerous, and I'm excited that you all will have the opportunity to understand a little bit more about our program. So right now we're directly in the towards the end of an open enrollment period, and I'm going to go over what that means here in a few minutes. But the basic gist of it is that it's your opportunity to apply for our program and see if you qualify, and then have someone else pay for you to get better at what it is that you do. And so I don't know about you, but I really like free money. So we're going to talk a lot about free money today. So as Annalisa said, I'm the Executive Director of the Central Pennsylvania Independent Electrical Contractors. And that's just a super fancy way of saying that I work with a group of electrical contractors here in Central PA on things like apprenticeship, continuing education, and advocacy efforts, so that everybody knows about the opportunities that we have and has the opportunity to make a great electrical career for themselves. So let's get started here. One thing that I'll say is that in order to be proficient in our apprenticeship program, you're going to need to like a couple of things. The first one is going to be working with your hands and really being a problem solver, I think, are some of the key factors to being an excellent electrician. One of the other things that I'll say is it's challenging work that involves math every single day. So definitely brushing up on math skills is something that's really important and is a big part of this job. You every day will be building your skills and increasing your knowledge, whether that's through our apprenticeship program and the related technical instruction that you receive, or if it's through your on-the-job training. It's every day learning something new, because each job will likely vary and what it is that you do on each job will vary. So we are part of the U.S. Department of Labor statistics that are listed here. And the reason that I put this down here is so that you know that even despite things like a pandemic, our trade is still growing. So in 2016, it was projected to grow by 9%. Right now, all of our contractor members are still looking for employees. They're still looking actively to have people who are interested in having a career in the electrical industry. So it's a great opportunity. I put on here that the average age of the journey level electrician is 55 years old. I do that very purposefully, especially if I'm speaking to people who are younger, is because those people are old. I'm old, so I feel like I can say that they're old. And when I say that, what I mean is that means there's more opportunity for you, because they're about ready to retire. They're looking for other people to replace them, and they want the trades, and specifically the electrical industry, to be a place where you can kind of jump in there and get started and really have a full career. The last thing that you see there is about the median annual wage. It's about $57,000 for nationally and about $62,000 here in Pennsylvania. So again, we're going to talk about this more throughout the presentation, but what I really like is that that money is what you are likely making after you are a journey person electrician here in Pennsylvania, depending upon where you work, and you have $0 in student debt. So we like a job where you're making some good money and you don't have any debt to pay back when it comes to learning how to be a part of that job. So we're going to talk about what the IEC apprenticeship is. We're going to talk about how you can qualify to enter the IEC apprenticeship training program. That's going to be our main goals for today. And what are the benefits of attending the IEC? I mean, I've just named a couple off of the top, but throughout the presentation, you'll learn a few more. So where do you start? This is the way to kind of get involved and do all of the necessary steps that it takes to apply for the program. So we have an application process that you have to participate in during our open enrollment period. So as I mentioned earlier, today at 4 p.m. is the deadline for our current open enrollment, and we'll also have one in the fall. And in that, you need to supply us with several documents in order to even move on to the next steps of the application process. We have an application, a physical application that you have to complete with Central PA IEC, and that's once you reach the age of 17. So 17 is the minimum age that you can be to apply, but anyone age 17 and up can certainly apply for the program. You have to submit documents. with that application, such as school transcripts, a driver's license, your social security card, letters of reference, your birth certificate. We actually have a checklist on our website that you can download to help you get all of your application materials together. In addition, once you've submitted all of your application materials and you've paid the $100 application fee, you have to complete a math and reading evaluation and a drug test. These are part of our policies, and they are something that we use, the math and reading assessments, to evaluate how you might perform within our program. Because remember, our program is both learning, the related technical instruction piece, and on-the-job training. So you do have to be able to be proficient in both math and reading skills. After you've done those, then you will be a part of an interview process. And the interview process is with contractor members of our association who are looking to hire people who are interested in becoming apprentices. A lot of times right about now is where I get questions surrounding, well, I've never done this before, I don't know, what should I say, all of that kind of stuff. And I want to encourage you that our contractor members fully understand that you might come into the application process not knowing anything about being an electrician, and that that's really okay, because as long as you have a strong work ethic and you're willing to give it a shot, most of our contractor members are going to be really interested in teaching you how you can be the best electrician for their organization. You just have to qualify for the program, and then you're offered full-time employment. And that's that last point there. You're offered full-time employment, and your apprenticeship program is paid for by your employer. So I'm going to kind of click through these and we'll talk about some of them. Oops, sorry. So the first one is I'm going to use this term registered apprentice and the RAPIDS database. So you might hear me say those things. I'm going to talk about our apprenticeship committee and what that means. You've already heard me say on-the-job training. So the acronym for that is OJT hours, and those are all of the hours that you work on your job. And then we're going to talk about the apprenticeship wage scale, which is a wage progression guaranteed to registered apprentices. So we really like, again, free money, and we like all kinds of times where we're able to increase our salary. I know I like it. Everyone on the call, I feel like, likes it. So those are some other key points we're going to touch on using the vocabulary that's listed here. So a registered apprentice is when you are registered with the U.S. Department of Labor and the Department of Labor and Industry here in the state of Pennsylvania. And we do that through a series of forms that after you qualify, you will fill out, and that will be submitted. And as long as everything is good to go, you'll be accepted as a registered apprentice. And then that will help us determine some of those things like the wage scale that I alluded to earlier. The other great thing I love about being a registered apprentice is that it allows you to move throughout the country, especially to those other areas that are also using the RAPIDS database and are registered with the U.S. Department of Labor. So let's say that you love living in Harrisburg right now, but in 2 years, the Rocky Mountains are calling to you. The great news is that IEC has a chapter in Rocky Mountain, and we can certainly continue your education there. And then all of the information that's within the RAPIDS database transfers to that organization, so that way we don't have to repeat some of the same measures. And everyone knows that you've been working towards the goal of becoming a journeyperson electrician. The second thing on here is our apprenticeship committee. So this committee is comprised of IEC member electricians and contractors, and they oversee the program. That's a part of our standards with the state of Pennsylvania, and they make decisions on how the program is run, what's best processes for our apprentices and our instructors, and how we can most effectively deliver our curriculum. So as you can imagine, there have been a lot of decisions made by this group over the past 3 to 4 months as it's pertained to COVID-19. We were able to switch directly to an online system that allows our teachers, our instructors, to still teach live while giving you all of the information that you would have received in the classroom during the pandemic. So that's a great thing about having a committee that can really help us make some decisions that are best for all of the apprentices. Our standards that I alluded to earlier are what the state of Pennsylvania has us registered with, and those are the things that we adhere to as far as our open enrollment period, how we deliver instruction, and who qualifies for the program and how. On-the-job training hours, we talked about this. This is the number of hours that you work during your apprenticeship. And for our program, you must accumulate 8,000 hours of on-the-job training. This is kind of working full-time. And so we base this off of a 50-week work year. So most of the time you receive probably about 2 weeks of vacation. And so if you work a 40-hour work week over those months, over those 50 weeks, that equals 8,000 hours. In addition to that, you'll note here that I have listed that while you're working full-time, you're still going to be attending those classes. So the related technical instruction will be delivered in those classes. We hope to be in person in the fall. And in person in the fall looks like 2 evenings a week, either at our facility in Mechanicsburg or in York, where we also offer online classes for the related technical instruction. At the end of those 4 years where you've scooted through all of our curriculum, either in person or online, and you've worked those 8,000 hours, that's when we have our graduation ceremony. And we take our program very seriously. This is a post-secondary educational institution, and we have a full cap and gown graduation ceremony because we know how hard it is that you've worked, and we're really excited to celebrate what you've achieved within our program. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about was the apprenticeship wage scale. So this is the level of pay that you can achieve according to the status of on-the-job training hours that you have. That is a super fancy way of saying that you are kind of guaranteed minimums for what it is that you will make based off of how much the average journey person makes within the organization that you work for. And so these are 5% increases for every 1,000 hours that you work past the first 1,000 hours that you will start working. So as we talked about before, there's 8,000 hours in those 4 years, 2,000 hours a year. So if you work 1,000 hours, that's about 6 months. And after that 6 months, you are guaranteed to be making at least 45% of what the average journey person makes at the institution at which you work. And so then that increases by 5% every single time you work 1,000 hours. So it's kind of awesome. I'm sure that a lot of people on here can attest to the fact that I don't get a 5% raise for every 1,000 hours that I work. And it's a great incentive for you to keep up your schoolwork and your related, and your on-the-job training hours to ensure that you're making those minimums that are a part of your apprenticeship wage scale. Our school curriculum is professionally written and designed to teach the students how to become a well-rounded electrician. So some of the things you might not do every day on your job, but the curriculum is really designed so that way, no matter where you work, you understand the full breadth of what it means to be an electrician. It's written by our national organization and changes every year, and specifically changes more with every 3 years with the National Electrical Code cycle. So we talked a little bit about some of these things, the requirements for enrollment, and I think it's important that you see these again because if you don't have them, you need to start gathering them. So we have the proof of age, your license, your birth certificate, your social security card, all of those kind of things. You have to have your own transportation. So this is really important because we work throughout an 8-county region here in central Pennsylvania. That's where our contractor members are located, and they work throughout this entire region as well. So being able to have your own transportation is really important. Working with organizations that have transportation is also something that a lot of contractors are willing to do. So be sure to talk to the contractor member that you might be hired by if transportation is an issue for you. You have to have your high school diploma or your GED, and you have to have a transcript of those grades. So that's a really important step in the ranking process during our open enrollment that helps us to assess points that you might be given. You have to have 3 letters of reference. And 3 letters of reference can come from anyone that's not a family member. So your pastor, your career link advisor, your neighbor, a school counselor, a teacher that you've worked with, anyone like that. And what we're looking for in those letters of recommendation is why it is that you would make a great apprentice for our program and why you might potentially make a great employee for one of our contractor members. You have to pay that $100 application fee. I talked about that a little bit earlier. And so the reason that we have you pay a fee is to cover the costs that are associated with the application, including things like my time, the drug testing, all of the things that it goes into processing paperwork through the open enrollment period. Once you've completed all of that, you turn everything in either at the office in Mechanicsburg, online. You can always email everything in, or you can send it in the mail, but it must be there by the final, by 4 p.m. on the final day of each open enrollment. The other thing that you'll note on here is that we cannot have any criminal convictions. So no felony convictions will be accepted into the program. Other misdemeanors, depending upon what they are, might be considered, but it's really important to make sure that you don't have any criminal convictions. And this is typically where, when I'm presenting, I get up on my soapbox and say, hey, if it doesn't feel right in your gut, maybe just don't do it, because it can really affect what your future looks like, including things like the opportunity to participate in an apprenticeship program. So let's talk a little bit about the on-the-job training. This is where you work full-time for an IEC contractor member. You're learning hands-on during your work experience. So we also try to mirror what it is that you're learning in the classroom with what it is that you might be learning in the field. So if you're wiring a three-way switch in your on-the-job training, you're likely also learning some of that in your related technical instruction. And we provide our contractor members with the syllabus for each year so that they can see what it is that you're going to be learning, and then help you with some of that in your hands-on learning that you're during your work experience. You're supervised by a journey level electrician. That's important because they have the knowledge that you're seeking to gain. And that's a part of our standards with the state, is that for each apprentice, 3 journey persons oversee that one apprentice. And we talked about this, your pay reflects your wage on the wage scale according to the number of hours accumulated. So you're working towards that goal of getting to closer and closer to the journey wage, journey person scale. Increases in pay are guaranteed as long as you have passing grades and you're doing a good job where you work. So just remember that there are contractor members are really investing in you. So it's really important that you invest your time wisely and make sure that you're doing a good job both in the classroom and on the job site. So let's talk a little bit about what it means to be in the classroom. You're there 2 evenings per week, 3 hours per night. So usually 6 to 9 p.m. And that's September through April. This year we're starting a little bit early. I think our classes are going to start in August actually, just because of how Labor Day falls. But in general, it's September through April. And at the end of the year in April, you take a core competency exam, which is the totality of everything that you've learned all in one exam at one time to ensure that you've understood the entire breadth of the program. The nationally sponsored curriculum is written by professionals, and like I said, it's updated annually. You can earn as many as 41 college credits. So that's an exciting point to note, because I often recognize that just because you start as an apprentice doesn't mean that you always want to work in the field your entire life. If you have aspirations beyond the apprenticeship, in many instances, we will work with institutions in our area to help you get college credit transferred in. So again, you have some free money to play with. Your contractor member has already paid for you to go through the apprenticeship program. And if those college credits transfer, that's money that you're saving and you don't have to pay because you're already receiving the college credit for it. That's kind of awesome if you think about it. I wish that someone had come to me at one point and said, hey, Marissa, here's some free money for you to go to college. That would be amazing. We also have labs throughout the year. Labs that are professionally designed and equipped by our IEC associate partners and contractor members. And so these are hands-on opportunities that might exist outside of your on-the-job training to ensure that you understand many of the concepts that you're learning as a part of the related technical instruction. The other thing that I always like to throw in here is that most of our IEC instructors are previous apprentices that went through the program. And the reason that I put that in there is because they have a unique perspective on how everything is delivered, And they do a really good job of then understanding how they can maneuver the curriculum and make sure that you understand it, but that they're able to move through everything. They're able to kind of look at a section and say, I think we got this, we're ready to move on. Or, oh my gosh, I remember when I took this, I really needed this extra resource. And so they're going to provide that to you as your instructor. The focus is on teaching one to be a professional electrician. So I'm very careful when I use the word professional, because I want everyone to understand that the skilled trades are a professional career. It's a very important career that can never be outsourced. You always come in to charge your smartphone and flip on a light in every single room that you go into. So there will always be work out there for someone who has a skilled trade. And what we mean by a professional electrician is not just your ability to understand what it is that the job takes. It's also how you present yourself, your ability to work with clients and customers and other people on the job, how you treat the resources that are given to you, and how you can show others the value of the electrical trade. So it's really important to us, and it's definitely something that we focus on as an organization. We teach electrical theory and the National Electrical Code as it applies to electrical installations and construction. So that's a part of the real curriculum piece of it, is understanding those are some of the things that you're constantly going to be learning. And that's why we have the on-the-job training portion as well, because sometimes something in theory looks a little bit different once you use it in practical application. So it's really important to understand both of those things. The first year looks like basic electrical theory and code. That's what you're going to be doing in the first year. The second year, I'm going to be real honest with you right now. The second year is tough. There's a lot of math in the second year, and you're learning more advanced theory and more about the code and how to read the code effectively. Second year is a very tough year, but the good news is if you have the foundation of the first year, the second year then becomes much easier. And as a matter of fact, the entire curriculum is built on what we call a scaffolding approach, meaning that it grows from the first lesson that you learn on it in year one to when you reach year 4, and your ability to understand everything that goes in between the concepts, they're built on, they're layered upon one another. Third year, we do motor controls and grounding and bonding and things like that. And you're also going to be introduced to blueprints there. And the same thing in year 4. In year 4, you're really looking at what it means to be a journey person electrician. So there's a lot more code that's involved in there, more grounding, supervising, blueprint reading, all of the things that it takes for you to, when you graduate from our program, be a true journey person electrician. And after 4 years, you graduate, and it's awesome. So you have to complete 576 hours of classroom instruction, passing with a minimum grade of 70%. And so that's how we calculate out how many absences you can have in a year, and how long our classes are is based off of this number of 576 hours of classroom instruction. That's also how the online program is structured as well, surrounding 144 hours of classroom instruction per year. You have to complete that 8,000 hours of on-the-job training, and there are no exceptions to this as a part of your graduation requirement. So in order to fully graduate as a journey person electrician, both of these things must be completed. This is our graduating class from last year. I'm super bummed out that COVID-19 took away our ability for you to see our graduating class of 2020. But if you have a few minutes and you want to check out some social media, if you look up Central PA, Independent Electrical Contractors, IEC on Facebook, you'll see some of our graduates as they've been receiving their graduation shirts and gifts, and we've announced who some winners are. And you can also look on my LinkedIn if that's something, another platform that you use under my name, Marissa Bankert, to see some of those things. We like to give gifts. I'm a big fan of cash dollars, money myself, but other people might like some different things. So we give away lots of prizes and awards. We give away the Outstanding Apprentice Awards. So these are presented throughout all 4 years of the curriculum. And this is the highest grade for the apprentices across all 4 years. Typically, this looks like a gift card or money from the association to these individuals. We also have created this Apprenticeship Achievement Award. This is kind of our most improved, our MVP apprentices. So not necessarily our highest grade, but someone who shows that they are really invested in the program and they really want to do a good job. It's a very prestigious award, not just for the individuals, but for their contractor members as well. We also give out Perfect Attendance Award. So this is for perfect attendance for anyone who has had perfect attendance across all 4 years of in-person classes. They receive money from us. We also recognize perfect attendance throughout each semester, throughout the months, and then the semester as a whole as a part of our apprenticeship newsletter. We have an apprenticeship skills competition. That is a way for you to, that's only for year 4 apprentices, and it's a way for you to participate and show us your hands-on training and your code knowledge. And that's held in February of each year. And then we also highlight the individual category winners. So the code test, conduit bending, troubleshooting, wiring, all of those things are individual categories. And that is someone who's highlighted. It's one of the most sought after positions is the apprenticeship skills competition winner. In addition, we have our Herm Sebastian Award. That's our valedictorian. So this is the person who has the highest GPA over the 4 years of the program. And so this year, our apprenticeship skills competition winner and our Herm Sebastian Award winner were the same person. And that's a really incredible journey worker to have as a part of your organization, someone who is both smart as far as understanding the curriculum and then also being able to translate that into their skills. So the national skills competition, you actually, once you win at the local level, you compete on the national level with top students and apprentices from around the country. We actually sponsor you as the local chapter to go with us to the national competition. And you complete the entry documents in order to, participate in that. I love it because you get to travel to major cities. So I like to travel. Who doesn't want to get out of this area every once in a while? This year we're planning on going to New Orleans. So our national apprenticeship skills competitor will be traveling to New Orleans at the end of October with me. And it's always a ton of fun. And let me tell you, not only do you have the opportunity to earn great prizes in cash, but you're like treated like you're royalty because everyone is so impressed with the individuals that win their local competitions and are competing at the national level. You gain a lot of recognition from your employer and your peers because you really are the best of the best that this chapter has to offer as far as the skills that we assess. In addition to that, or as a little bit of an aside, I think it's a great opportunity to network with people like tool manufacturers and software developers and a lot of our industry partners at the national level, because my hope is that you want to continue to grow in the career that you're interested in pursuing. And when you think about that, what better opportunity than at the national level to really gain some insight into what it means to function at that higher level. This is what some of our classroom instruction looks like in our lab instruction. So if you see there's one of our classrooms here in Mechanicsburg, they're going over kind of first night of class stuff there. And then the other picture is of a lab that they were doing at our facility in York. So lots of hands-on stuff, lecture stuff, all of that is a part of what it looks like to participate in our in-person instruction. So now let's talk about some of the benefits. So the first one is that you're registered with the Department of Labor. And so again, we talked about that gives you some ability and some flexibility to move should the need arise. And you know that it's a bona fide program, right? Like it's something that someone else has to oversee. The second thing is we find you employment. So if you are qualified for the program, you will be offered full-time employment with one of our contractor members, and you will be working full-time. If you are a vet and you're interested in something like this, we are a VA approved program. You can earn up to 41 hours of college credit. I think that's kind of awesome as you think about maybe you want to do something above what your current position is. The program is recognized nationally. Again, it's a national curriculum, and we have chapters. We have over 54 chapters throughout the entire country. We have qualified, competent electrical instructors. So these people are really dedicated to the next generation of electricians and making our career path and the skilled trades of being an electrician your best opportunity. You get classroom instruction with lab exercises. So you're able to learn both hands-on through our labs and with that related technical instruction of the in classroom, or again, also offered online. We have the formal graduation ceremony with awards. I like to give stuff away. I give stuff away all of the time, even if you're not graduating. We have an Apprentice of the Month that we award, and we have lots of different contests throughout the year too. We want you to have fun while you learn. It's excellent pay and benefits with regular increases. So let's do a full stop here. Full stop is, this is a great way for you to earn while you learn. You are getting money, full-time money, benefits of what it means to be a full-time employee, and you are not paying for your tuition. That's an amazing opportunity for someone who believes that they could have an electrical career. It's a really great opportunity to know that you don't have to outlay cash in order to be in the career path that you want to be in. In fact, someone else pays for you to do it. They're investing in your future from the moment that they hire you, because they want you to be the best electrician that you can be. And those regular increases that we talked about with the wage scale, that's a real opportunity, again, for you to understand that we are committed to you and we want to see you be successful through monetary raises. Finally, this is my favorite one, because I think that sometimes people don't think that they always want to be installing light fixtures or digging ditches or, you know, running wire or doing that their entire life. And so this allows you to start establishing your career path. Once you have gotten the foundation of an apprenticeship program under your belt, you can be anything you want to be. It's really about you and your motivation. So think about an electrical engineer and using some of those college credits to do that. Think about becoming a project manager. Let's say you love leading people and you feel like you can do a great job of running a project. That's an opportunity that exists for you with our IEC contractors. The same thing with being an estimator. You love math and you love trying to figure out a puzzle. Estimating is such a great opportunity for you, and an additional opportunity that can come from the apprenticeship program. Sales. I put this on here because sometimes people don't understand that once you know how something works, you just became an expert on how to sell it. And we've had a lot of our apprentices enter into sales with our industry partners, our manufacturers, and things like that. We had someone who was an instructor and now works in lighting sales and makes a great living at doing all of that because he understands how those things operate, and therefore it makes it easier for him to sell. And then the final thing that's on here is a business owner. So for me, I think that apprenticeship is a pathway to entrepreneurship. So if you've ever thought about owning your own business and being your own boss, this is the way to do it. You start in an apprenticeship, you learn what it means to be an electrician, you work for an electrician within our contractor membership to understand what it means to have jobs, run jobs, do all of that kind of stuff. And then it gives you a foundation for becoming a business owner yourself. You're really learning this entire time about how you could do this on your own if that's the choice that you want to make. I love entrepreneurs. Our entire organization is made up of entrepreneur electricians. So it's a great opportunity for you to own your own business once you have that solid foundation of understanding what it means to be an electrician. We also offer continuing education courses to improve your skills throughout the year. So these might be safety courses, additional information on businesses, human resources, all kinds of things. We offer a wide range of continuing education courses, and we offer journey level and master level exam preparation courses so that way you can feel good about when you're going to take any exams for the licensure that exists in pocket areas throughout the state. Just to be clear, there is no statewide licensure for electricians in the state of Pennsylvania, but areas such as Harrisburg, Chambersburg, Reading, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, they all have individual licensing requirements. And these courses, in addition to our apprenticeship program material, will help you to prepare for that. So if you need more information, here's some of my contact information. That's my direct email that's listed there, the phone number for the office, and our website. As I mentioned before, all of the open enrollment information is on the website right now. It will be taken down at the end of open enrollment, but is usually up about 6 weeks ahead of each open enrollment period. So in the fall, it will be up in September, so that way you know all of the things that you need to apply. You can also look at our national organization at ieci.org. That'll kind of give you some more information about our national organization overall and where our other chapters are. Just remember that there are no shortcuts to any place worth going, and we would love to have you consider an apprenticeship with our program. That's all I have, Annalisa. Any questions?
Great. Yes, we did have one, but before I get to that, I just want to say if anybody else has any questions, please type them up now so we can get to them. But our question is, what is the age limit for the program? So it's 17 is our maximum age.
There's not a maximum age, so it's definitely one of the things, the documents that's on our website is what it means to be an electrical apprentice, so a job description that comes directly from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So that gives you some information about what is required in all of that, and that might be a consideration for anyone thinking about that career path.
Great, and I see one other. Do you become a member to IBEW?
You do not. So the IEC is a separate organization from IBEW. All of our contractor members are merit shop contractors, and so this is a different program, but the IBEW does also offer an apprenticeship program.
Great, I don't see any more for now. I'm going to wait a few minutes for any last minute questions to roll in. So while we wait for that, I just want to let you all know when our next session will be. It will be next Thursday, June the 11th at 11 a.m. with a senior recruiter from Treehouse Foods. Information for accessing that session is being distributed by our team, so if you have yet to see it, keep your eyes, keep a lookout. There we go. Let's see, here's another question. What if you are a senior this coming year? When can you apply?
So if you're a senior this coming year, in order to apply for the apprenticeship program overall, you would need to apply when you are getting ready to graduate. So we always offer an open enrollment period around this time, so May into June. And the reason that you can't apply now is that you, if you qualify, you'd be offered full-time work right away. So we need you to be able to work full-time, and if you're a senior in high school, you're unable to do that. If depending upon your school district, we also offer a pre-apprenticeship program. So if that's something that you're interested in, feel free to reach out to me with the contact information, and I can let you know if your school works with us on our pre-apprenticeship program.
Great, thank you so much, Marissa. I don't see any more for now. We'll see if any others roll in. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, or if you'd like more information about services available to you through the career link, don't hesitate to reach out. I will be submitting the contact information for program staff in your county in the chat box so you can reach out. I will do that momentarily. And I don't see any other questions, so I don't want to take up everybody's time. That's all we have for today. So thank you all so much for joining us. And Marissa, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. She did provide us with her contact information, so make sure you took that down if you want to contact her. And that's everything. Thank you all so much.